as well, and he decides to make the move to Jacksonville, up to Division I in the A-Sun. Jacksonville team that's fallen on hard times recently, but looking to turn things around, and we are off. And we get you set for another college sports season here from Newton, Massachusetts, right through to the College World Series in June. We can't wait to bring it to you right here on ACC Network Extra. We'll go through some of the players for Boston College. There is a lot of similar names from what you might be used to from last season for BC, with some new pieces and some transfers mixed in as well. First ball ahead for Sid Segala, who's in her junior season, the speedster from Connecticut, who's also been part of the Boston College track program the last few years. And this is back for Vivka Villebrandt. It's been so steady in goal over the last few years, making her 55th career appearance here today as Villebrandt enters her senior season. It is a heavy senior team for Boston College, and you'll see that as we look at the starting lineups for what this Boston College team has. Sarai Costello, who was a key center back the last couple of years, really in that spot due to injuries. She's pushed out wide. Some of the newcomers to look for, number 23 right there, Grace Corder, the senior from Washington who comes in from Gonzaga, had a very successful season, was an all-WCC honorable mention last year, a steady presence who can play that center back role for Chris Watkins. Jacksonville pushing the ball towards center. That was Bella Faraday who got knocked off, and then it works back here to Bella Douglas. Douglas, who played in 17 games last year for BC, nearly 1,300 minutes, number 8 in white for Boston College, will throw in. Early stages first half from Newton in the first game of the year. It's about as early as we've ever started regular season games on the calendar. Boston College started on the road last year. They started home this year. In fact, they'll have 4 games done this year by the time they played their first home game last season. Ball is out of bounds here. Throw in coming up for BC. Grace Corder will throw it in. The senior led Gonzaga last year in minutes, over 1,700 minutes, improved on almost every major statistical category from where she was her first couple of seasons with Gonzaga. Emily Sapienza, one of 3 captains, got it ahead for Aislinn Streisig, who's wearing a new number this year, number 5 this year for Boston College. Her second season with the Eagles after coming in as a transfer from Alabama. Out of bounds here, and a throw-in coming up for Andrea Zwinkels, the senior from Sweden, who's part of this Jacksonville starting lineup today. Again, under Ryan Moon, the new head coach, and he was, even in our call a couple of days ago, was really excited about the depth of this roster, but was still trying to figure out where everybody was going to fit in and work together. The biggest change for this Jacksonville team is Logan Gonzalez, who had been a defender through the most of her career. Last year, due to some injuries, had to play in goal most of the season for Jacksonville due to injuries, including for Gretchen Duttenhofer, who's back as the starting keeper today. But she is going to play more of an attacking fixture for this Jacksonville team. Here's Streisig on the outside, got around her first defender, sets up to the middle, and nearly had a chance on the right post. Sid Segala was there streaking in, and a good setup from Streisig gives Boston College its first opportunity. So goal kick coming up here for Duttenhofer, the junior keeper from Jupiter, Florida. Played 4 games last year before she was injured on September 17th and missed the rest of the season. That was a big reason that Jacksonville had some struggles down the stretch a year ago.
Can you ask Adam, is there something different from the way the audio is coming out of the box than last year? Because the knobs seem to be way off and not controlling what they used to. Okay, thanks.
Another throw-in coming up for Jacksonville, and Zwinkels came in as a transfer from Limestone University. It'll be kind of interesting to see with this Jacksonville team. Most of their transfers are coming in from some of the lower levels of college athletics, including, by the way, their head coach, Ryan Moon. who wasn't shy about saying, this is new for me too. I've been in Division II for a very long time with Florida Tech. Haven't been part of a Division I game in a really long time. So that's all an adjustment process. And it'll be similar for some of the players on this team as well as they step into bigger roles here at the Division I level. Millie Tugby with pressure coming, and this is going to be one of the things you'll see with this Boston College team this year. They're going to press much higher. Sigala in position, but it does roll off her foot and over the goal line for a goal kick. Chris Watkins, who's really into the data and trying to mine whatever he can from that, talked a lot about where goals are created. And if we can create turnovers and take the ball away in advantageous spots, that's going to help us in a big way for a Boston College team that did struggle to score a little bit last year. Just 6 goals total in ACC play. Strysak's chance is knocked down. Took the shot from outside the box, and you can already see Aislinn Strysak's going to have a huge role with this Eagles group. Sarai Costello gets it right back from Sigala. Costello tried to play it into the box, got knocked down. Costello with the throw-in. Here is Sigala once again. Sigala's wide, pass for Strysak, was knocked off. It does set up the first corner of the game. Zwinkels was the one who broke it up. But again, you're seeing the speed of Sigala on the outside. Chris Watkins feels like there's a lot of potential there. Really accurate and composed pressing forward. So corner kick coming up. Here's Strysak, who had a really nice end to the season last year. Left-footed corner goes short, was knocked down by Madeline Ratke, senior from Virginia. Again, Boston College pressing high, created a turnover momentarily, but it's out over the goal line. So goal kick coming up for Duttenhofer. Gonzalez, good pass back, was looking for Faraday and then got knocked off. Through the back line and Villabrandt. There's one of the freshmen in the starting lineup for Boston College, Amalia Dre, the first year from Illinois. A Chicago native like Ella Richards. Ella Richards once again in the middle, playing that number 9 role for Boston College this year. Veteran of 3 seasons, scored 7 goals a year ago. And we talked about Strysak and her performance down the stretch of the season last year. Remember, the Eagles did tie their final 4 matches of the year a season ago, including games at Virginia and then most notably at home against North Carolina, who's ranked number 3 in the country at the time. Gonzalez got to the middle. Emily Sapienza, one of the tri-captains for Boston College this year, who's back a couple of seasons with the Eagles after starting her career at Rutgers. Now, you mentioned that game against North Carolina. As it turned out, that is Hanson Dorrance's final regular season game as the head coach of the Tar Heels after recently retiring. Just a couple of days ago, the legend of the sport, former head coach of the Tar Heels. Sapienza comes in, takes the ball away from Restrepo. Knocked down by Quarter. It nearly set up an opportunity for Capiello, the sophomore from Ontario for Jacksonville. Strysic's back on it now. Pass was behind Douglas, though, so a turnover. And it looks like a whistle here. Sarai Costello is coming off the field for blood. So they will check on her. Boston College will sub for the moment. Riley Prazo, the first year from Southington, Connecticut, will come in. So at least right now, 3 newcomers of the 4 in the back on this BC team, including 2 freshmen, Prazo and Dre. Throw in for Zwinkels, near side for Jacksonville. Ball hit forward by Restrepo, but no problem for Vivka Villebrand. Ball ahead for Ella Richards. Maybe a touch behind her, but she does get to it. Nice work by Richards. Tried to create something out of it. Richards, who's been so good playing back to goal over the course of her career. Saw a little bit of that skill on display right there. Douglas couldn't get to it before it goes out on the near side. Zwinkels to throw in. No score, early stages, first half of the college sports season here from Newton, Massachusetts. Boston College and Jacksonville. Eagles patient with the ball. Over top for Segala. Defender is Tugby there. Comes back to the middle, where Baylor Goldthwait, a junior from Durham, North Carolina, who came in as a transfer from Wake Forest. That is one spot where Boston College is a little short numbers-wise in the midfield. Just truly in terms of numbers of players. So they are still working to see who some of those pieces are going to be. Georgina Clark, the first year from just down the road in Hopkinton, Mass. Also got a start today in the midfield. And Sapienza, who's moved back into the 10 spot. Ball forward for Richards. It just rolled off her foot. 2 Jacksonville defenders right on the edge of the box. Wide for Prazo. Has a size advantage there against Faraday. Out of bounds to Boston College. So Strysic will go over, take the free kick to come. Strysic trying to find something with Segala, just could not quite connect on it. That was a good effort, though. Pretty good ball there from Aislinn Strysic. One of the things that Boston College was really excited about with Strysic coming in last year, and it was similar to Emily Sapienza when she came in the prior year, was players who were part of College Cup teams, both with Alabama and Rutgers, and coming in and being able to bring some of that winning culture. Good read by Douglas. Got knocked off. Here's Zwinkels. Jacksonville needs to be really focused on being organized, especially on the defensive end. Strysic's ball forwards, too far for Richards. Duttenhofer plays it over for Millie Tugby, sophomore from England. It's one of the things that jumps out with this Jacksonville team. They really have an international flavor to this roster. 10 countries represented on this Jacksonville roster this year. Ryan Moon said part of it is, you know, when you're a new coaching staff coming in, teams recruit earlier and earlier now, that if you're a little later in recruiting, you tend to go international. That's kind of the next thing. Plus, he's an England native, as is assistant coach Gary Ogilvy. So it kind of makes sense with the contacts that they had as well, but creates a unique feature with this Jacksonville team as they try to round into form in the 8th Sun. It's touched by Gonzalez, tried to go wide with it, well defended by Riley Prazo. And came in after Sarai Costello had to come off the field after some blood was on the jersey. Segala, good ball forward. Richards tracks it down. Has Streisig in the middle. Pass for Streisig, and the header just missed wide. Another pretty good setup. This time it was Streisig, the beneficiary of the pass. Just couldn't quite get it on goal. So I think you're seeing in these early stages, even just 16 minutes into this game, some of the makings of what Chris Watkins wants this team to be. They are pushing forward, they are pressing high and creating chances. And that's why that number, and Chris Watkins talked about the fact that, you know, his teams with Gonzaga and BYU were pretty consistently top 25 offenses, and that's what he's been known for as a coach. This is the pressure again. Look at the turnover Boston College creates. They got the ball back in the box. Pass is knocked down, then Sapienza comes free to Streisig, who scores. But the flag was up on the far side, so wave off the goal. There was so much time in the box that it ended up Streisig snuck ahead of the line. So offside against BC, and Jacksonville will reset. But that's exactly what we're talking about and what Boston College is going to be this year. And it's just creating more opportunities. And that's the thing that really stands out as BC is going to sub here. Sophia Lowenberg, or actually, I think that's Costello. Yeah, that's Costello wearing a different jersey number. So Costello comes back in after having to leave earlier. And because she left earlier, because there was blood on the jersey, that's why she's able to come back in here on a free sub. So another corner kick coming up here for BC. Streisig. Lower ball this time, immediately knocked down by Radke. And knocked back towards center. But anyway, the number that most stuck out is just the shot totals, and specifically the shots on target of Chris Watkins' teams. In 3 of the last 5 seasons, they've been top 12 nationally in shots on goal per game. So his whole mantra of, you know, hey, let's press high, let's take the ball away in advantageous spots, and let's try to get some opportunities. And because some days they're going to go in, and you're seeing that in a big way. And how many times has BC taken the ball away in the box already in the first 19 minutes of this game? It's still 0-0 though, as we play here in the first half of the college season. Boston College will play most of their non-conference games before jumping into ACC play. Their first conference game will be on September 12th against 15th ranked team of the preseason poll, Notre Dame. Part of a stacked Atlantic Coast Conference in women's soccer. Streisig again. Richards trying to wait to stay behind the flag. Good move by Streisig. He's got a ton of space now and help in the box. Streisig sets up, and it's deflected. Does not go out over the end line. That ball stayed in. Would have been a corner kick. Already seeing some of the remnants of that good late season run from Streisig. Here's a ball from deep from Douglas. No problem for Duttenhofer. Streisig had goals in each of those last 2 matches last year, at Virginia and then at home against North Carolina. Finished with 4 goals on the season at 11 points. To the middle for Sapienza, got to get it off quick. Tried to come back to her left. Richards was there, was taken down, and no call. So again, decent setup for Boston College. And Daniel Shank Moreno, our referee today, ruling that there was nothing to warrant the whistle. Shots right now are 6-0 in favor of Boston College. Just one of them on target so far, but you certainly get the picture. What Chris Watkins is looking to do with this Eagles team. He was not shy about the fact of noting, you know, we all know what this conference is in the ACC, and there is a lot of great sports in the ACC. You could pick a lot of them. It's this turnover here. Restrepo has help. Gonzalez back for Restrepo, and an excellent defensive play by Grace Corder. She held her ground well and did not give Restrepo any room on the edge of the box. Grace Corder may be the biggest addition to this BC team. It's turned over and the shot missed wide. That's Logan Gonzalez, the redshirt senior who, as we talked about, playing up front this year for really the first time in her career. Nearly had a chance at it. Sagala plays wide, was looking for Costello. It's another move with this Boston College team. We mentioned it a little bit earlier. Sarai Costello, who had to play that center back role last year, did so alongside Claire Mency. That size as a center back kind of helped offset Costello, who's a little undersized for a center back role. But now, you know, as Chris Watkins says, as long as they, knock on wood, stay healthy, in his words, Costello can kind of stay on the outside and hopefully have a chance to use her speed and get her moving forward. And we've seen that once or twice already today. This is cleared out for the moment. Bella Douglas is right there, starts it back in. Sagala right side of the box. Set up for Douglas, has a little bit of space, wide for Streisig. And the flag was up. Pressure again. This time it was Richards, and it creates a turnover. So right on cue once again. Streisig pressure on Restrepo, native of Columbia, who came in as a transfer from Wilmington University. Was the 2023 ACC Player of the Year and a first-team United Soccer Coaches All-East Region team. Experience at the national level for Columbia at the U20. And again, another transfer coming in from a lower level of college soccer, trying to make an impact with Jacksonville. It's obviously game one of what will be a long journey here, trying to turn this program around for Ryan Moon, but he was pretty optimistic about what this had the potential to be. It's the fourth head coach in 7 years for Jacksonville, for a team that did have some success in the early aughts. Here's Streisig, that missed high. Jacksonville, who has not won more than 7 games in a season since 2014, so it has been a little while, but if you look at some of the investment that Jacksonville has made, partnership with Jacksonville Armada at the club level in Jacksonville, where a couple of these players played in the summer, and what they've done with some of their other Olympic sports programs, it gives him confidence that there is room to grow with this women's soccer program as well, because it's got everything that you could want of a big-time program. Major city, major pro sports city, D1 level in Florida. Streisig, nice move. Streisig to her left foot, leaves it off for Richards, got it back through the middle, nobody was home. Segala chases it down on the edge of the box and does create the corner kick. Boy, Streisig's done a really nice job here in the early going. Chris Watkins noted not just the success she had at the end of the year, but also scored a lot of goals in the spring as well. He said it doesn't matter, you know, what level it is or the spring versus the fall, just scoring that many goals is important, something to build off. Another corner, this one higher. Segala couldn't get a head on it. Sent right back in. Douglas from deep. That was blocked by Capiello. Katarina Capiello knocked it down. Sophomore native of Ontario. Segala, who for now has switched sides with Streisig. Douglas ball in, was looking for Streisig on the backside of the box. Settles for Clark. Freshman. Out for Streisig, defended by Madeline Radke. And the Eagles are still on it with Costello. Goldthwait looking for Segala. And this is out of bounds off of Jacksonville. Ella Richards tried to curl around. Again, it was knocked out. But you see how much time Boston College has spent at this end of the field. Shots are 8-1 right now. Favor the Eagles. 3 corner kicks to their name as well. And that's a whistle against Jacksonville. Bella Ferry, the junior. Free kick from the opposite side. That's still use Streisig. Bella Douglas, just off your screen, is there as well. Coming up on 15 minutes to go in this first half. Streisig. Curling back for Richards. It ended up with Segala. Her shot got knocked down. All the way back for Amalia Dre. Couldn't get it back in past Restrepo. Is there a counter to be had here? No. Dre in good position and pushed very right off the ball. Flag was up for Streisig.
Logan, channel. Logan, come and be on a 12.
Sam Shirax takes the kick for Jacksonville. Another native of England. Came in as a transfer from Rider University. Back for Hannah Billicky. And again, the flag was up. That's the 4th time that Boston College has been called offsides. Good pressure. Verity's shot is what? But a little bit of turn there for Jacksonville. There's a bunch of subs will come on the field here for both teams. Laura Damasio, junior from France, in for Jacksonville. As well as Millie Urquhart. Subs for Boston College coming in as well. Streisig came out. Sagala came out on that sequence. Paige Peltier, grad student. Transfer from Notre Dame in for the first time in her Boston College career. And then Ava Lung, the grad student, transfer from Harvard. Part of a really good Harvard program the last couple of years. Won the Ivy League tournament title for the first time last year. Made the NCAA tournament 2nd round. Back-to-back years in the NCAA tournament. And a Massachusetts native from Westwood. He's in a forward role. Number 11 for BC. Headed by Quarter off the free kick. And here's Georgina Clark, who quickly turns the pitch. Duttenhofer. Goldthwait tried to force it wide. Zwinkels right there. Jacksonville trying to turn the pitch a little bit here. Sapienza, good footwork. Ahead for Richards. Can Richards get by? Ella Richards ahead for Lung. Flag stays down. Lung forces it forward. But Peltier couldn't quite get to the spot. That was a pretty good development, though, starting with Sapienza on the opposite side of midfield. And what looked like maybe a nothing sequence, but nearly led to an opportunity. Here's the pressure the Eagles will put on. Ivka Villabrandt sends it out wide. It's still very early on. We still have 11 minutes to go in the first half of game number 1. But not only is Boston College playing this different style and taking the ball away as they've just done there, but it feels like they're playing with the confidence in this style, even though it is new compared to what they've had the last couple of years. Here's Lung, tried to center up, creates corner. 4th one of the game coming up here for BC. First one without Streisig on the field. And it looks like Sapienza will be the choice to take it. Sapienza, who is back for a grad season. Had a lot of shots a season ago. Gets it in, looking for someone, settles down, and then cleared out by Shirax. Sapienza is someone that Chris Watkins, you know, looking at the scout, looking at some of the numbers, maybe the goal total didn't necessarily match the production and the shots, but he feels like it's in there. A little bit more of a 10 roll this year rather than right up front. A whistle here, first card of the game. They'll go against Boston College. That's Ava Lung, called for the card. The Eagles, who have been in control of this game, 9-2 in shots. Just one on target in this game belongs to Boston College. Corner kicks 4-0 in favor of BC, but the score, of course, still 0-0 as we tick under 10 minutes remaining in this first half. Richards, flag stayed down. She was in good position. Ella Richards out front, makes a move. Does he have the shot? Yes! Richards delivers the Eagles' first goal of the year. After scoring 7 a year ago, Richards with the 37th minute goal. And what a good job she did to hold as long as possible to stay onside and still be able to have that free run. Had to go to her left foot to finish it, but does, and that certainly feels like an earned goal for Boston College, considering the amount of work and the amount of play they've had in the attacking third in this first half. It's 1-0. BC with 8:24 remaining. First half, game number 1 of the season. BC will play 4 home games to start the season. All of their non-conference will be played here in the Northeast. Richards again. Back for Douglas. Bothwaite has played a good first half. Costello's gonna run up to it. Costello using her speed. Good slide tackle for the moment by Radke, but couldn't knock Costello off possession. Canton, Massachusetts native creates a corner. Mentioned that confidence piece earlier, and confidence with the style that Boston College is playing, which again is new for them compared to last year. But it feels like they're playing with, and again, it's only half number 1 of the season. You don't want to make more of it. But for a team that only won 3 times last year, you have to build that feeling. That's a good save on the post. Mariana Dabo, who came in defensively, she makes that save for Duttenhofer. But not even learning how to win again, but learning and playing with the confidence that you can come into a game like this against a non-ACC opponent and feel like you have the advantage. That was something that this team maybe didn't have after a couple of down seasons. But you certainly wouldn't know it from the way they're playing today. And for as much as you're going to take out of game one, half one, is kind of install a new system, try to figure out what you have and go from there, that's probably as much of a positive as the goal that's on the board to this point. 6:05 remaining. Couple of subs coming back in here. Ashley Roberts, first year from Western Canada. First year midfielder is in for Boston College. For Jacksonville, Kayla Jackson, a sophomore from Georgia. Billicky trying to lead Jackson. Jackson couldn't quite run underneath it. Nia Black also just checked in for the Dolphins. Over in the area. Richards, nearly got free again, but ended up getting tripped up with the ball. Whistle with 4:42 to go in the first. Free kick for Restrepo. As long as this is still one, no matter what the shots are, one good set piece changes this game. Is it here? No. Hannah Billicky was the one who got ahead on it. Another Jacksonville sub coming in. Bailey Humbert, grad student from North Carolina, played at Campbell the last couple of years. Started 16 of 17 games over the last 2 seasons. Richards over for Roberts, got taken off. Madeline Radke playing the ball forward for Black. 2 Eagles center backs that have debuted and playing together for the first time in regular season action. The freshman Amalia Dre and the senior transfer Grace Corder worked well together. Those 2 center back roles so far. Douglas back for Corder. Peltier for Richards. Deflects forward for Sapienza. Here's Long out in front. Oh, Dettenhofer just got a piece of it. Well, again, if you're talking about in-game adjustments, Boston College gets credit. That's 2 in a row that very easily could have been offsides after they got called for 4 of them earlier, and both times they did a good job to wait on it. And that time it was Ava Lung. Dettenhofer just did enough to get a piece. Keep it 1-0 for now. Boston College will have their 6th corner kick of this first half. This time coming from Sapienza. Lung was there, quarter as well. Nobody could get a good touch on it. But it is off Jacksonville. Oh, another one coming up for BC.
Just be ready, Bailey. You're good. Just be ready. Just be ready.
Sapienza, deeper ball. Peltier got a piece of it. Still in a dangerous area before it's finally cleared. And once again, it is Boston College who is first to it. As we play under a minute remaining in this first half. Shots heavily favored in favor of BC, and now more of them starting to get on target with 4 of the 12. Richards again, that play back to goal. And it looks like they're going to give a card on this sequence with 23 seconds remaining in the first. So free kick coming up for the Eagles, as a yellow card was given to Millie Urquhart, the sophomore from Scotland. So a chance for Boston College to add a little bit more here. It'll be Sapienza again. Hard ball in, knocked down. Bailey Humbert, that was probably ticketed to go in. And Humbert's the one who makes the stop. That's the 2nd time a Jacksonville field player's had to make a save in this first half, and that will just about do it for the first half. Boston College showing you how they're going to play this year. A little bit of a different style. They put 13 shots on the board, 4 of them on target. And Ella Richards, with her 19th career goal, finds the back of the net. And the Eagles have a 1-0 half.
But again, so much of what we've talked about with this group, how they're going to play a little bit differently this year from what they've done in the past. Pushing really high, pressing forward as much as possible, trying to create turnovers in advantageous areas. And they did a lot of that in that first half. You can still see some of the kinks still to be worked out as well. Called for 4 offsides early, including once or twice in the box. But as that half went on, you saw more shots on target. And one finds the back of the net from Ella Richards. Her 37th minute goal was the 19th of her career. And that's where we are. 1-0 lead for BC. And half number 2 begins with Sarai Costello throwing it in. Clark with a quick flick, looking for Richards. Remember, Costello is wearing number 25. She had some blood on the jersey earlier, her regular number 4, so that's why she's wearing number 25 as we play here. Back to the original starting 11 for Boston College. Come out here in half number 2. Jacksonville has some changes from what they started with. Here's Restrepo. Had to come back to the middle, knocked down by Baylor Goldthwait. Wake Forest transfer, still alive on the edge of the box here, but Costello is there to knock it ahead for Segala. Trying to create positioning for herself, and does. There's the speed of Sid Segala, creating an opportunity on the right side. And her cross for Streisig is just too high. Well, that was a clinic in how to pull that move off, and nearly executed it at the end with Streisig.
Richards looking for Segala. It's taken away by Radke. Just for a moment, though, Georgina Clark, first year, steps up. Clark, as we said, is from Hopkinton, Massachusetts. Played with FC Stars as her club team. Clark, good touch pass for Costello. Sapienza back to goal, creates a little bit of space, and has corner. Billy Tugby could only knock it out over the goal line, so corner kick coming up. And this now is 8 for Boston College. As we said, that's more than they achieved in any game a season ago, which is less about the number and more just about, again, the style and where Boston College is playing on the pitch over the course of this game. There's a header towards goal. Richards is right there, trying to turn. Jersey's being held. She's taken down. Nothing's called. And Jacksonville will play out. Ball on the goal line again is knocked out. So Boston College will allow Jacksonville a goal kick here. Boy, Richards was trying everything she could to get in position, and it looked like there was some grasp of the jersey there. But Jacksonville does a decent job to fend that off. This is nearly turned over, dangerous area. Sapienza is stepping up, making life difficult, and then the follow-up try from Segala missed high. So again, there is the pressure that Boston College is putting on, pressing as high as possible and trying to take the ball away. And by the way, that's Pia Bozic, who's now in goal for Jacksonville. Senior goalie from Slovenia, came in as a transfer this year from St. Rose, which is a Division II school in Albany. Had a really, really good year. Part of a team that went 20-0-2 a year ago, losing in PK to Adelphi in the second round of the NCAA D2 tournament. It's been a pretty even goalie competition, so they switch halves as the goalkeepers in game number 1 of the season. Duttenhofer in game 1, Bosick in game number 2. Ball is out. Whistle goes against Jacksonville. Streisig comes over. Douglas was there as well. Streisig took most of the free kicks when she was in the game in that first half. On a bounce, Clark settles it down, edge of the box. You're definitely seeing some interesting designs off of some of these free kicks. Shot numbers continuing to mount. Gonzalez knocked it down. And a whistle is Clark. Taken down in the midfield. Fouls were relatively even in that first half. There weren't a ton of them. But we've seen a couple here from Jacksonville in this second half. Out of bounds on the near side, throw-in coming up. Richards, good pressure. Richards got a takeaway, and then Segala just trying to advance it towards goal as quickly as possible. You know, when you play the way that Boston College is playing, there's a couple of parts of it. It's first, you got to really learn the skill of taking the ball away, not just pressing, but creating those turnovers. And the Eagles are doing a good job of it. And then the next step is, Chris Watkins talked about the idea in our call last week of a lot of goals are scored, more than half. It's 3 passes and that's it. So how do you make that first touch after you create the turnover to be in that best position? And we've seen some good and we've seen some to work out, and that's all part of the process here with the new system and new style. But in terms of task 1 of getting the ball, Boston College has certainly done that. Now, turnovers are not tracked in soccer in the same way that they are in some other sports, of course, but that would be a high number that Boston College has created in this opening game of the season, where they lead 1-0 over Jacksonville. Streisik centers, Sigala's got a chance, got a piece of it, but Bosick was in position. Streisik working forward for Richards. Ella Richards, who is the Eagles' goal scorer in this game. Came in the 37th minute. Her 7 goals last season, second most in her career. She scored 8 as a freshman, remember. She just burst on the scene that freshman year. Scored 8 goals in her first 8 games of her college career. Here's Dabo, good pass wide. Radke with some space, couldn't get it on goal. Costello closed out enough that space that appeared like it was gonna be there momentarily ended up evaporating pretty quickly. Villebrandt's goal kick, Kayla Jackson knocked it down. You know, the other side of this is as many shots as Boston College is getting, as many, you know, corner kicks as they've created, turnovers that they've forced. As long as this stays 1, just takes one good opportunity on the other end for Jacksonville. And they are trying to stay organized defensively for this young, new-look Jacksonville team under first-year head coach Ryan Moon. Outshot 16-4 right now. Still only trailing by 1. And the Dolphins will have possession here. Jacksonville, which is going to start with a couple of games on the road here, Boston College, and then at least closer to home. Just across the state of Florida, they'll take on USF on Sunday. And then home for 4 in a row, starting with FIU. First conference game of the year is Stetson on the 19th of September, and that's kind of what Ryan Moon is looking at, trying to build to that point. Maybe a build up here. Is there space for Radke? No, Costello got there. Georgina Spragon was in the area as well. Another native of England. Came through the Newcastle United development team. The captain and top scorer last year. Eagles trying to transition quickly off of that good chance. Richards forward for Streisik, and flag was up on the near side. Sure. Boston College, we started to mention it earlier, they're very northeast heavy in terms of the location of their non-conference. They're playing some teams from different areas. Gardner-Webb will be in on Thursday. They'll take on Merrimack at home on Sunday. But in terms of the travel, at Dartmouth on the 29th and at Cornell on September 5th. That's it for their road non-conference games. Of course, the new look ACC will require some more unique travel than years past, so they will be on the road at SMU this year, one of the newcomers to the ACC in mid-September. Streisig out here. Ava Lung comes back in. Sapienza goes out wide.
Step up! Georgie inside! Georgie inside! No, inside! Where the ref? 20.
Another throw-in coming up, Bella Douglas. Sophomore who kind of really found a role for herself last year. Nearly 1,300 minutes. Led all freshmen for Boston College in minutes played. Here's Sapienza darting through. Got it to the edge of the box with Peltier who's back in there. Remember in college, it's free subbing in the second half. First half, if you come out, you can't return until half number 2, and unless there's a potential injury situation or what we saw with Costello where there was some blood on the jersey. Sapienza got space. Sapienza's shot was off target. From outside the box, but had a little bit of room there. 14+ minutes in, second half. Eagles lead is still 1-0. That 37th minute goal has continued to hold up. That is knocked out on the near side. Eagles have certainly gotten their share of set pieces, and whether that's corner kicks or whether that's the opportunity they'll have right here. We've seen either Streisig or Sapienza. Here is Grace Corder to take one for the first time. Transfer from Gonzaga. Player on this roster who has experience with Chris Watkins as a head coach. Corder's try comes into the back line and nearly had Peltier with a shot on target, just ended up missing. Good look for Peltier. Paige Peltier, it's gonna be an interesting case. Grad student from Minnesota, played at Notre Dame, did not play a ton. 22 career games over 4 seasons, but was a fairly highly thought of recruit, 2-time high school All-American out of Minnesota. Both parents played at Notre Dame. Let's see if there's something to be found here, but has gotten some minutes early for Boston College here up front. Clark settles nicely. Peltier did a good job to get position with a couple of defenders on her. There's Andy Barth, who's in the game for the first time, senior forward. He's gotten a lot of minutes the last couple of seasons, been really good out on the wing using her speed, but this is taken away. On the far side, Bella Douglas was in the area and then is called for the foul. That's Anaya Black, the junior from Fort Lauderdale. Scored twice a season ago. Another whistle here against Boston College. So can Jacksonville push back here a little bit? They're trailing 1-0 with just over 27 minutes remaining in the second half of the season opener. Not just for these two teams, but 11 a.m. first game of the college season. In soccer and in any ACC sport. Boston College hosting Jacksonville here from Newton, Massachusetts. Just second all-time meeting between these two teams. BC winning a game back in 2014. Eagles have already tied their season high in shots from a year ago with 18. They've exceeded their season high in corner kicks from a year ago. They have 8 of them today. And 1 goal on the board, which was Ella Richards in the 37th minute. First of her season and 19th of her career with Boston College for the Chicago native. Andy Barth starts forward. And a chance for Peltier to run underneath it. That's out of bounds. On the near side with the throw-in set to come. Boston College under first-year head coach Chris Watkins playing a new style. Pushing forward, pressing much higher than we've seen in years past. And they have created a lot of takeaways in this first game of the season. Out of bounds on the near side, off Gonzalez. Anna Billicky, the redshirt senior. You see that cast on Hannah Billicky's left leg. She is playing through a fairly serious injury that she suffered just a month or 2 ago, but is rehabbed it, and really pretty impressive that she is able to play through it.
17 in, 27 out.
Ryan Moon talked about kind of speaks to her character and what a leader she has the opportunity to be for this young group. She comes out of the game here. Marka Hart. Way up in the air for Gonzalez. Back for Zwinkels. Couldn't find it. Andy Barth was there. And now Sapienza. Sapienza, who's played every minute so far. Forward for Peltier. Nice touch to get around. Peltier back center. Ball still loose in the box before Zwinkels knocks it out. That's one of those opportunities that never felt like there was this grade A chance coming on the back of it, but you just kind of keep pushing and make the next pass and make the next pass, and maybe it ends up there. Okay, the lungs pass got deflected up in the air, and Sarai Costello settles it down. Costello for quarter. Over for Bella Douglas. Quarter steps up well. Here's Goldthwait. Sapienza plays it back for Quarter. Over for Bella Douglas. Long sustained possession here for Boston College. Quarter forward, looking for Sapienza. And the Eagles create another corner kick, their 9th of the afternoon. They have certainly done a good job creating there. And they have not given one up on the other side. And all three of Boston College's starting forwards are about to check in. And that was a good try that forced Bosick to make a save. And now, right before this next corner, Sigala, Streisick, and Richards will all come back in the game for BC. Ashley Roberts also coming back in. So Sapienza will sit for the first time today, along with Lung Peltier coming out. For Jacksonville, Spragon and Gonzalez check out. Or Damasio is one of the ones who just checked back in. So Streisick, freshly back in the game, will take the corner. Shorter with it for Richards. Tried to create a play, again back to goal. Still alive for Goldthwait. Bouncing ball through the middle. Can Sigala get to it? It was cleared out by Olivia Peel, who's in for the first time. Eagles are still on it here. Goldthwait out of the danger area, at least for the second, as everybody resets. Streisick wide. Streisick with pressure from behind. And they do award the whistle. And a card is given out. Looked like there was some holding there from Kayla Jackson. Tried to give Streisick the advantage, but eventually they do call it. The 9th foul called against Jacksonville. Streisick lets it go. It's Douglas on goal, punched out. And then taken away. Good read by Anaya Black. But Clark was right back there for BC. And the Eagles quickly change it right back the other way. Streisick to the left foot, and it just missed wide. Just deflected enough by the Jacksonville defense that it missed the goal, but it's corner kick number 10 coming up here for BC. Sorry, good call. Thank you. Beg your pardon, number 11 here for Boston College. This is the most since they had 12 against Holy Cross back in the 2022 season. Trying to execute on one. Clark was the one in position, and it looked like her defender, Kayla Jackson, actually either slipped there or maybe was forced down by Clark, which may have been what created the momentary opening. Couple of subs here for Jacksonville. Bella Ferry is back in the game. Down to just 18.5 minutes to go for this opening game of the year, and it is still a 1-0 lead for Boston College, despite a shooting advantage of 19-4. And we will see if Jacksonville starts to push some players forward a little bit more than earlier in the game. Still down just one at the moment, despite being heavily outpossessed. And a chance here for Ferry. Faraday got it back. Good passing for Restrepo. Wide for Anaya Black. Got a chance, knocked down by Douglas. And then there's Segala. Touch was too strong, so it's out of bounds on the far side.
Balance off, Manny, stay! Manny, stay!
Faraday along the sideline, pressure from Ashley Roberts. We've seen some freshmen make impacts early in this first game of the season. Roberts is in there as one of them. And here is the veteran on the other side, Richards. It came up and grazed her hand. So that's whistled down, and Jacksonville will get possession. Costello knocked it out. Costello is playing back out wide after sort of being forced into center back role the last couple of years due to some injuries. That ball is out over the goal line.
I'll explain what we do with the elbows.
No problem. 15 minutes.
The earliest starting dates of the college season here as we play on August 15th. Boston College, in fact, will have 5 games under their belt before we hit September. Eagles will sub during the break here with Lung coming in and Segala coming out. You can hear Ryan Moon and the Jacksonville coaching staff saying, let's push up a little bit. So I think we'll see that over the last 15 plus minutes. Douglas, Dre, Goldthwait, and Quarter all gone the distance for Boston College so far. Billy Tugby, the lone player who's gone the distance for Jacksonville. Streisig pushing it forward. Streisig took her defender off the ball. Lung plays it forward, going quickly for Richards, just out of a reach. Billy Tugby, who we just mentioned, who's gone the whole way for Jacksonville today, was the one who made the play. Another sub here for Boston College. Sapienza will come back in, and Goldthwait will come off for the first time. The clock stopped here with 14:10 remaining. Throw-in will come from Douglas. Sapienza steps up. Another takeaway created, but the pass was behind Streisig. Not only is it a new style, a new system, you know, sometimes it's even a little bit of a misnomer to say that, of course, right? Because yes, it is a new and different style than what Boston College was playing when we last saw them in October. But remember, these teams go through a whole spring season with the new coaching staff. There's Watkins, who was hired back in January at this point. Verity with good pressure from Clark. A little bit too much contact. And the whistle does come out, and Jacksonville going back quickly, but the touch was too strong from Olivia Peel.
Well done, well done.
And then a yellow card was given. Olivia Peel's called for the yellow. Follow through of that opportunity, just a little too much, and ends up making contact. Second yellow called against Jacksonville in the game. So College was called for one earlier. Ashley Roberts forward for Richards. Again, just a little bit out of reach. We're down to 12 minutes remaining in this first game of the season. That 37th minute goal from Richards is held up. I would say that Boston College has still had a similar amount of possession from what we saw in the first half, but certainly have not had the plethora of shots that they had in half number one. 13 of them in the first half, 6 so far here in half number 2. A lot of those were early. 2 of those shots have been on target here in the second half. Nina Ballman, who's out there for Jacksonville, over to try to get it. Eagles' next game will be Sunday against Merrimack. As we talked about, that's a 1 o'clock start. We'll have it for you right here, ACC Network Extra. Richards for Streisig. Good footwork. Better play, though, by Millie Urquhart. Streisig trying to make life difficult in the back line, and stepping up, taking it away, Bella Douglas. Richards, side of the box, creates, got space, just could not get the footing as she was tripped up by Sam Shurux. So Pia Bozic, the goalie, will start with it once again. A couple of subs again for Jacksonville. Logan Gonzalez is back in, as well as Madeline Ratke and Andrea Zwinkels. Under 10 minutes to go. You're just refamiliarizing yourself with college soccer after watching the Olympics the last couple of weeks. Remember some of the rule changes from a couple of years ago. No more overtime in the regular season in college soccer. It ends in a tie. It just ends that way after regulation. Eagles trying to avoid that and add to their total. Streisig's got a chance. Streisig for the back post, looking for Ava Lung, and just missed again. Again, this is not something that's tracked live, but it would be, of the now that's 20 shots for Boston College, how many of them have come off of takeaways, either in the box or right on the edge of the box? They have certainly responded to that part of Chris Watkins' call during this first game of the season. Chance at a header. Restrepo's open, back of the box. Couldn't get a clean shot past Costello. Good job by Sarai Costello, but a whistle, and Costello is called for a foul in the box. What a moment for Jacksonville. Down by 1, and a penalty kick is coming up. The Eagles will ask for a review here. There is replay even in these non-conference games. So Daniel Shank-Moreno, who is our referee today, will go over to the monitor and take a peek. And why not if you're Boston College? Certainly is worth it. Costello going for the tackle on the near side of the box. Did a really good job on that first effort to prevent what all of a sudden came free to Restrepo. And this is a good job by Jacksonville. As we've talked about a lot, despite how lopsided the shots are to this point, as long as it's one, you're just one bounce away. And Jacksonville may very well be on the precipice of that one shot away. With 8:30 remaining in the second. And all of this good work for Boston College, trying to keep the lead of 1. In a review right now, after a penalty shot was awarded on the field of play. And what an important review this is at this stage of the game. Sure. This is what can be reviewed. So the biggest thing on this particular situation that they're looking at is not so much was this a foul or not, but did it occur in the penalty area or not? And that obviously has massive implications here.
I'm actually in as far as I go.
And creates an added layer of tension with 8:30 to go inside of this opening game of the season. Most of the ACC kicking off their year today. This is game number 1 with a bunch more to come tonight, and the explanation about to come out. So after the explanation, it is going to be penalty shot for Jacksonville with a chance to tie this game from Logan Gonzalez, the redshirt senior who was forced to play goalie last year for Jacksonville due to injuries, now playing in a forward role for the first time in her career. She can tie the game right here with 8:30 to go. It hit the post, but the rebound's right there, and they score, but the flag is, oh my! The flag was up on the far side, so it's no goal. The penalty shot hit the post,
but the rebound was wide open, but Jacksonville was offside. And the Eagles with the Houdini act to stay up 1 with 8 minutes to go. That is not something you often see. And now let's see where the pace and tenor of this game goes. First time Jacksonville was called offside all day, and it is in a massive moment. Taylor Goldthwait will come back in for Boston College. Now trying to, they have to feel like they just got new life. After a review did not go their way, it upheld the call on the field of a penalty kick. Gonzalez hit the post with it. The rebound was right there, and then the follow-up went in, but Jacksonville deemed offside. Restrepo forward, looking for Radke. Costello is there in the area. Restrepo, that's out. Seven minutes to go. 1-0 Boston College, the lone goal on the board. Is Ella Richards. He plays it forward right now for Streisik, who's going to get there first. Streisik still on it. Streisik with a right-footed shot that time. 6:34 remaining. Radke back on it. Andrea Zwinkels is wide. Forward for Streisik. And now, with under 6 minutes remaining, you can't fully go into taking time off the clock mode. But here's a chance for Ava Lung, the Harvard transfer. Threw it right into the defender. That's Lena Ballman, the first year from Germany. Cleared out on the near side. That did go out of bounds on the line. Subs coming in, they will stop the clock at this stage with the subs coming in with so little time left. Jocelyn Prosick will come in for Jacksonville, the junior, for the first time today. Paige Peltier is back in for Boston College, and Bailey Humbert is also back in, grad student for Jacksonville. 5:38 to go. Restrepo against Goldthwait knocks it out. Prosick for Zwinkels. And now here's Prosick once again, just in the game. She's got a shot, comes to the middle, and it's knocked down by Boston College. That's Amalia Dre. First game of her freshman season, has gone the whole way in the center back role and played well for Boston College. Villebrand is right there. Has not had to have a ton of work today. Jacksonville officially still does not have a shot on target. But boy, did they have a great opportunity on a PK awarded off of a foul called against Sarai Costello, right on the edge of the box, deemed in the box. Logan Gonzalez Opportunity hit the post. The rebound was right there, but it was all for naught as if it was called off on an offsides. Ball towards center. That is cleared out. Just for the moment, though, as Peltier followed it up. Quarter knocked it down. Peltier once again is wide. And ends up going out off of her foot with 3:43 to go. Does Jacksonville have any magic left to try to find just one? Thought they had it. Ivka Villabrandt over to get it. We'll see how much time the officials allow Boston College to take off here, and right now they are allowing Villabrandt. We're going to be down at 3 minutes by the time she has to take this kick. Shots are 21-6 BC, 7-0 in shots on target. Forward for Peltier. How quickly can Jacksonville go back? .2:17 to go. Humbert plays it up top for Gonzalez, and that is out on the near side. With 2 minutes now remaining. Going back to that PK, again, we don't have the benefit of replay upstairs, so. But I believe what the ruling officially was that Gonzalez was the next one to touch it off of her PK shot that hit the bar. There were 2 or 3 players in the area, but Gonzalez was the one who touched it second, which you can't do off of a PK because Villabrandt did not make contact with it on the shot off the bar. I believe that's what they ruled downstairs. After the game, when we see a confirmed replay of it, we'll be able to confirm that for sure. Here is Villabrandt off the free kick. That is out of bounds on the far side. But nevertheless, I mean, what a turn of events at the 8:30 mark of this game, going from Boston College holding the lead and holding most of the possession, Jacksonville, to their credit, pushing back, getting the PK, it's standing up on review, and then the PK hitting the woodwork, and the ball finding the back of the net, but ruled off. And that is why we're still at 1-0 with 19 seconds to go, and fittingly, it's another takeaway for Sapienza. And her shot rises high with just a tip from Bosick. Is there anything to be found here with just 6 seconds to go?
4, 3, 2, 1.
Boston College holds on. What a finish that was, as Jacksonville, to their credit, pushes back and does create some chances. But the Eagles, who exceed